Funko, collectibles, movies, trailer reactions. Long ago, there was a guy who was just a guy, but all that changed when he got his first collectible. From that moment, he became a collector. Some say he was a myth, but most say a legend.
Alright, so Aladdin. First off, this movie had big shoes to fill, like really it did, considering the original anime movie is so beloved. I had expectations for this movie since Aladdin is one of my favorites of all time. Going into this movie, like I had my doubts, especially with the director Guy Ritchie, because I typically don't like his movies that much. It's been a while since I liked one of his movies. So, once they announced that Guy Ritchie is actually directing this, that got me a little bit worried because I typically do not like his movies. But even though, he's directing, of course, I went to go see this movie because it's Disney. So, after watching this movie, I had mixed feelings. The things I liked were the actual setting of Agrabah. The city kind of looked like really genuine and a little bit amazing, actually. Even though they could have done a little bit more with the actually seeing scenes from the city, but the city did look pretty good. I liked the way it was. Costume design was incredible. I liked all the costumes in there. They really looked amazing. Dance numbers in the movie I thought were done well. A little bit of here and there with the music, the actual singing and all that, but the dance numbers that go along with the actual music were like the dancing wise was actually done pretty well in my opinion. The singing could have been a little bit better. Of course, when you think of singers, these actors aren't your typical singers. Sure, Will Smith raps a little bit, kind of sort of sings, but he's not one of the best singers. But their singing was just okay. In the movie, Will Smith sort of had those parts in there where it kind of elevated a little bit the movie a little bit, like the scenes he was kind of in with like the way his charisma was. It was great in the movie, but it does take some warming up to. Going into this movie, I of course love Robin Williams as Genie. So whenever they said that Will Smith was going to be Genie, my first thought was I hope he does not do a carbon copy of Robin Williams' Genie. I hope he does something different with the role and actually makes it his own. In this movie, I felt like he did not try to copy Robin Williams, but tried to make the role his own, which I did like. Of course, Robin Williams did. I like Robin Williams' Genie's better, but he did try to make it the role his own, which I did like. So, but it did take some warming up to actually get behind his Genie, like the way it was. Took some warming up to actually get behind the character. But overall, by the end of the movie, I liked the way Will Smith kind of portrayed the Genie, his charisma, and really what shined through in most of the parts that he was in. The actor portraying Aladdin did an alright job, but I feel like he needs a little bit of work on his singing. Whenever you hear his singing, you could tell that he wasn't like necessarily a professional singer or anything, but his singing could use a little bit of work. But as portraying just the character of Aladdin, he did an alright job with the role. I thought Naomi Scott portrayal of Jasmine was not too bad, but I did feel it needed a little bit more if it was to be on par with the original animated movie. I just felt some parts in there could have been a little bit better with her, as far as showing her versatility with the role. A little bit more of a little edge, a little more attitude on some things like the original anime movie had in there. So, I mean, otherwise, her portrayal of Jasmine wasn't too bad in the movie. In this movie, Jafar was not like the character from the original movie. I felt like the original character from the movie was like, it was amazing in the original animated movie. But this Jafar, I felt like was not up to par. He did not feel menacing or evil enough, and really, it just fell through for me with this Jafar. I felt the conflict of the movie wasn't big enough. Whenever you see the original anime movie, you get that feeling that they're pressed for time, especially with Jasmine being stuck in that jar of sand that's coming down on her. You get Jafar as the big cobra. and you know, you just get that sense of conflict and that sense of pressed for time. In this movie, I did not feel that at all. I didn't feel the conflict was big enough in this movie, so it kind of lacked there of in the way the conflict is, and I just didn't feel like it was big enough in the movie. Overall, this movie was sort of alright. It was alright, but of course, you know, the original did it better. Of course, the original will always be one of my all-time favorites. This movie did have big shoes to fill, but in some parts, it did great. The highlights I think were like, you know, Will Smith was kind of a better part of the movie. Some of the parts he did was probably one of the highlights of the movie. But overall, this movie had some ups and downs. But you know, it was alright. It was just kind of flat some areas, but it was alright for right now. But that is going to do it for my review of this movie. Let me know down in the comments if y'all seen it yet. Let me know what y'all thought of it. And if you want to be a part of Team Legendary, all you got to do is subscribe and turn notification on so you know when I post another video. Hope y'all all have an awesome day. And remember, be legendary.